Hello, and welcome back to Rock Tumbling Weekly. For those of you who have watched the video before, welcome back. For those who are new, this is a video journal to just document my progress on my rock tumbling projects from week to week. You get to see everything that's in my barrels and how I do everything. And if you have any questions about rock tumbling or anything I talk about in the videos, certainly post those in the comments below and I'll answer all sorts of questions. We have 7 barrels tumbling, nothing in polish right now, but I'm really excited to show you what I've been working on. So let's get started. This is our batch of Bloodstone, and it's been running in course for probably a month now, and it's really tough. But I also think that this particular tumbler is running a little slow, like its cycles are slower, so it's probably not getting as much impact as the other barrels get. But many of these are looking really nice. What I think I'll do today is, depending on the availability of the small barrels, like if I can take the Hematite out of one, I will probably split this batch, run a smaller batch of coarse, and just take out the ones that are ready for medium right now. That is what I will probably do. This is the batch of Amethyst. It's been in course for 1 week. We started this last week. And wow, look at all this gorgeous purple. And a lot of this is like chevron amethyst. It's so nice to see a batch like right after the first week of course, because the rough, it just doesn't tell you much about what the stones will look like underneath. But now we have a really good idea. This, of course, needs more time in course. So I'll put it back in the barrel with some ceramic media and get that running for another week. And this is our Amazonite that has been in course for 1 week. Last week I took some large pieces of Amazonite, broke them up to more manageable sizes. They're looking really good. Of course they need more coarse, another pun. Why am I saying that line over and over again? You know, Amazonite, at least this batch, seems to be pretty tough. Now, this is the light green version of Amazonite. You'll see some that's more of a, like a turquoise almost, darker Amazonite. This is the light green, kind of like a light sea green. It's really nice. All right, I'll put this back in the barrel with coarse grit, and we'll see it again next week. This is the batch of mixed quartz, and it's had such a varied life cycle at this point. As you could see, it's all done individual runs at rose quartz, fire quartz, carnelian, clear quartz, but there were some pieces that were just, you know, not quite right. I've combined them all in this batch. So what I'll do at this stage, because I'm really being particular about what moves on and when, is I already have a big bowl full of quartz that's ready to go on to the fine grit stage. So I'll go through all of these and divide them out again. What can move on? What needs to stay in medium? This is the batch of hematite. I've split this batch into two because some is ready for fine grit and some just has not. This is doing much better. I ran it another week in medium grit, and I see I have more pieces that are ready to move on, but like that's not, it's got to be cracking it. You don't want anything where coarser grit might hide and then ruin later batches, like your fine or your polish. But yeah, this is looking better. I'm gonna go through these and I'm going to divide the batch up again and see how many I have left in each pile, and the bigger pile will move on. Here is the Coomba jasper. This just came out of the fine grit and it's looking really gorgeous. Like really nice. Look at those little eyes and swirls. I'm gonna wash this batch up really good and I'll put it in polish. However, well, not this one. That one needs some more work. However, I think I have more jasper than will fit in my polishing barrels. I may have to split this up or super clean one of my other barrels so I can polish all of this. But I have segregated my polishing barrels from the grit barrels, so there's less risk of contamination. We'll see. I'll put this all in one of my polishing barrels and see if that fits. Looking super nice. Hooray. This is our tiny barrel of Rhodonite, and it's been running in fine 500 grit for 5 days, and I've decided to check on it, see if it's ready to move to extra fine grit. So this is what it looks like. This is what the slurry looks like when you open up a barrel. You've got all of that gray water in there and all of your grit remnants. And I'm gonna use a similar technique for polishing to see if it's ready. And it looks really smooth. Really smooth. This looks nice. Now, before I put this in the next phase, I am gonna take a look at these under my eye loop and just make sure that they're as smooth as they can be. But these look really good, just from what I can see and feel right now. These feel to me like they are ready to go into extra fine. Then polish, then ship them off to the tumbling competition. I moved the Coomba jasper over to the polish barrel and it fit really nicely. So today I can start something new. I'm going to be starting black onyx. And black onyx is a Mohs hardness 7, and it's essentially like a jasper. So it should polish up following a very similar recipe to Coomba jasper. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I have 5 pounds of it. This is just 2 pounds right here. Yeah, there's some looks banded a little bit, but I don't know if that's exterior or interior. We'll see. You know, after the first week in course, we can tell a lot from these. So I'll get these in the barrel. And that brings us back to log time. I have all 7 barrels full, 1 in polish. So this gives me an at a glance to see what's in every barrel and at each stage. Then for those who are new to these weekly episodes, I also keep a log for each different gemstone, telling me how many days I was in each stage and if I made any changes or adjustments, so that I can fine-tune a recipe when I polish those gemstones again. And I think I'm going to follow along with Amethyst. This is Amethyst. We started that last week. You see I have an initial log that says which barrel it's in, the time and date of that cycle, the number of days, and how much grit I put on it. And then today, again, same barrel, the day that it started, and you know, what I decided to do. So continue my coarse grit, 6 ounces. And we'll follow Amethyst week to week so you can see how I record in these logs. But if you have any questions about that, certainly put them in the comments below and I will answer them for you. And that concludes our episode. Thanks for joining me this week to see what's in my barrels, what I've added, what I've moved on. If rock tumbling is interesting to you, you'd like to learn more, you'd like to follow my week-to-week tumbling adventures, then hit the subscribe button and you'll see whenever I post a new weekly video. Have a great week.